Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crowdsourced challenge, where after I added a new rule myself yesterday, it's time to spin the wheel to get one from you guys. So let's just immediately give it a ping, and our new rule is quite nice. No using bale spikes with silage bales. I haven't got around to looking at the comments yet for the last couple of videos, so there are a few things that are probably in the comments that I haven't put in yet, so bear with me please on that. But let's hop straight into game. And in game, our plan for today is that we need to tidy the yard. Now I will say I have done actually quite a lot of off-camera work, a bit more than usual, in between yesterday's stream and this video. I've fertilised field 19 with slurry, so that was interesting to say the least. And I finished whatever it was that I was doing during the stream. Oh, putting lime on field 19, wasn't it? So field 19 is ready to be seeded 100%, but I promised during the stream, and I believe at the end of yesterday's video, that the priority for today's video would be putting the equipment away. I'm gonna follow through on that promise and get everything into, at least into sheds. I don't know if it's going to be neat, but it's going to be in sheds. So this could be a bit jumpy as I grab equipment from all over the map and kind of pull stuff together. Also, I think the sweepstakes for the John Deere needing whatever first has been completed, and because the John Deere desperately needs some fuel. I'm not willing to run it down any more than it already has been. So turns out it needed refueling first before repair. Just gonna hop in cab here to get this through, and I'm not gonna obey the speed limit in the yard because I don't see the point of obeying the speed limit in the yard. We'll get this refueling, just switch it off, and we'll swap over to the fast track, which you might notice that has straw in it because I forgot to deal with that after yesterday's video, so that'll be dealt with probably later on tonight if I remember. If not, shout at me in today's stream. John Deere's refueled, that'll get a repair as well. One thing that I do want to get rid of, because I don't need to be using it anytime soon, is this. And just for the sake of, I'm not going to be doing much with money for the time being, I'm just going to get us down to 5,000, just so that I can afford fuel costs and whatever for the near future. I will probably need to pull out more money again out of the loan, assuming there's no great demand in the near future, because we do still need to seed field 19, and I think now is a good time to get the crop growth back on, as I just prevent a crash here. Crop growth can go on to, I'm gonna say normal for now. I had it turned off because I needed to deal with the weeds, I needed to deal with the fields, I didn't want grass growing up again. So just by means of showing you guys, field 19 is fully fertilized, as are 15 and 18. So all that we have to do in terms of field work before we can start harvesting again is actually just get field 19 seeded in a crop. And that crop is probably gonna be canola. Why canola, you might ask? Because canola is money, and if we're selling only on great demands, canola makes perfect sense. It actually makes more sense than any other crop. The oats in field 18 are mainly a crop that I'm growing for. Can I fit this in? I want to get both feeders into the same shed. The oats I'm mainly growing for the straw. The canola is most definitely going to be a cash crop. One thing that I will do, however, and you know, there's still going to be a bit of mess left over afterwards because of this, is I'm not going to touch the bales that I bought, or the... Why can I not disconnect you? Oh, because I don't have you selected. I'm not going to be touching the bales that I bought or the big bags. So they're going to kind of remain out and about because they're going to be used up fairly quickly. The bales are all going to go over to the cows, the big bags are going to go into the cedar, and the windrower is going to go into this shed here. Actually can go relatively straight back in. Why am I putting the windrower in here? Because it's a big shed and I don't trust myself reversing the windrower. What else is going to need moving? There's a lot that needs kind of shuffling around. I don't mind holding the trailers all under that canopy, by the way. I do want to straighten out the forage wagon a touch. By the way, the silage is now fully compacted and is covered, so that'll be coming through in the next few streams and episodes, hopefully. Next up for moving is going to be the cedar. I haven't decided actually where I'm going to put the combine yet. It's probably going to go into this big old shed here. And actually the cedar can go in here as well. Just because it's nearby and there's no rhyme, no reason behind me putting the cedar in here. It's just that it's nearby. The baler will go under the cover next to the forage wagon though. Just so there's some semblance of organization. I guess there's some semblance of organization going on there as well, because both the slurry tank that's in there and the cedar, they're both going to be used for kind of crop growth. Although I do have the fertilizer spreader, the big old fertilizer spreader is under the canopy, so I could, I guess, put the combine under there. There is a space in there. And I will be repairing both tractors and getting them full of fuel today as well, as I just snap out of causing a crash there. But I want to kind of have both tractors and the combine fully fueled and fully repaired today, just so that everything is ready to go. I'm not too fussed about things being dirty. I know that some people will be annoyed, but I'm not too fussed about things being dirty or equipment being low on the wear side of things, because while you do get more money from selling equipment when it's not worn, I don't plan on selling equipment anytime soon. So there's no point in me getting it down, you know, getting up to 100% maintenance when it's not going to be sold for the foreseeable future. Those pallets are going to stay where they are as well, just because the pallets are a bit odd, because I'm just going to dump them wherever they end up. And the reason behind that is, if I leave them somewhere where I know where they are, just somewhere that's out in the open, it's going to make life a bit easier for me. This can go into the hall of 3-point attachments over here. And you might now be seeing why I've decided to use the fast track for this job. That four-wheel steer is a fantastic thing when you're trying to maneuver in sheds. So I might end up using something with four-wheel steer as a yard tractor in time. But for now, it's gonna comically be the fast track, just for today at least. Because it's the fastest tractor we have, and it works as a good shuttle. Right, next up is going to be whatever I come up to next. It's probably going to be the weeder, which is going into that shed as well. In fact, it is going to be the weeder, which is going to go into that shed. The combine and header for the combine, I think I'm going to throw them both into the larger shed, just so they're a bit closer to the fields. Because field 18 is going to be the first field that comes up for harvest, so it kind of makes sense for me to keep the combine nearby, even though field 19 is slightly farther away. So So you can go into the shed of 3-point hitch things. I'm trying to remember now, is there anything over at the shop that I'm going to need to be worried about? Or anything abandoned over at the pig yard? What am I forgetting? I'm forgetting something. Where's the water tanker? The water tanker is abandoned over here, I think. Yes. And it was abandoned over there because reasons of it was. And that's not going to be able to reverse very well because it's a dolly trailer. This might be one of the items that I just kind of leave out in the open. Much to Faye's annoyance, because I'm not very good at reversing stuff with the dolly, and it's going to be just that small bit easier to kind of leave it out in the open, unless there's an area that I can leave it that's kind of undercover at the very least. Do I want to leave it in this little gap, this little area here? What is this shed? Can this shed be opened? You can live in this shed, water tanker. I will forget about you, but you can live here. Or maybe not, because I... No, you will not live here, because now I've got you stuck. This is not going to end well, is it? Come on. No, don't just go off at a weird angle. No, don't do that. No, now you're going off at a weird angle again, water tanker. I'm not... No, this isn't... This isn't helping. Okay. The water tanker can stay near the manure tank, I guess. It's also going to be used for milk, comically, but... I mean, the milk tank is just there, so it kind of makes sense. Even if I were to leave it kind of here-ish. Ah, I see the perfect place for it. If I can spin this around in the right space, yes. If I just leave it, you know, here-ish, it's not perfect, but it'll definitely do. What else do I need to move? I'm probably gonna need to grab the Manitou next. Because I do know that I've just abandoned a bunch of telehandler equipment around the map. And this is one of the reasons that I'm just not going to obey the speed limit today, is because it would be very, very slow going if I did. So the first item is going to be the pallet fork, which this is going to be quite easy. It's easier if I go this way, Dave. Easier if I go via the shop. Because there's going to be some stuff over the shop as well that I'll need to move. And this lets me kind of gather my thoughts on what's over here. It's just the bag fork is going to be moving from here today. I've just thought there's something else I can sell. So I'm just going to set you on cruise control for now and go to my garage because don't need that. This is why I decided to make the moving stuff in entire videos, because you guys get to see where I've just abandoned everything, and you guys get to see me kind of going around the map facepalming at how much of an idiot I was, just dumping stuff in random places. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to store the telehandler. No, I am sure. That would be a smart idea, Dave. So the telehandler equipment isn't going to go into either of the sheds that have equipment at the moment. It's going to go into the shed that's holding the bales, because the telehandler's main job is going to be dealing with the bales. Ah! An actual thought process. That's interesting. Let's see how it plays out. I know the combine still needs moved, as does the combine header and the grain trailer. They will need to be moved. But first I'm going to go back over to the pigs, because you might have spotted the bale fork is over there, and this is going to be the time... This is going to be the best time to pick up the 2 bales that are over at the pigs, isn't it? If you missed yesterday's stream, by the way, it was basically almost entirely throwing fertilizer or slurry down on field 15 with the Abbey, and good old chat about some stuff, as the streams tend to be. But yeah, I think now is the best time to grab the 2 bales that are over the pigs, because I mean, this fork is going over to the yard anyway, and if I can go over the 2 bales that I need to pick up regardless, because they need to be moved over for the cows as well, now's the best time to do that. So I'm going to ignore the bag fork for now. I know that it's there, I remember that it's there, I will remember that it's there, but I think the bigger problem is going to be the 2 bales that I abandoned over the pigs. And I know that at the end of yesterday's episode I said that I'd give the cows straw. The reason that I haven't is I only remembered when I was doing the off-camera slurry work to set up for today's episode. So that hasn't happened yet, and it will happen at some point soon. If the cows still don't have straw by the time I'm streaming today, please do shout at me. Or at least ask if I've given the cows straw, because that is actually going to be one of the big jobs that I need to do in the very near future, and I'm going to forget because I keep forgetting to feed the animals. One thing that I do need to buy in the very near future, and it's one of the reasons that I'm keeping the loan out, it's going to be bought with the whatever remains from the loan, is actually going to be a silage fork or a bucket of some sort. A bucket would be ideal because I can clean the pigs out with it, but if I can't afford a bucket or a shovel or whatever you want to call it for the telehandler, then I will just buy a silage fork and deal with that. Now the next problem is going to be getting this over to the yard, because there are going to be a few tight turns, and I'm hoping the sticky bits on, or the stickiness of this bale fork by 4D or CD or 4D or whatever you want to call them, will be enough to just hold these bales on until we get to the yard. I'm going to unload the bales into the shed, but near the front. I'm not going to stack them as if I was going to be keeping them. They're going to be unloaded near the front of the shed, just so that I remember to do it, and that's going to be your visual cue tomorrow to know that I haven't done it yet. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something that's technically outside the, well, inside the rules, but something that I shouldn't do, for realism's sake. I'm going to leave the bales outside the shed, for the simple reason that the plan for today's stream is going to be seeding again. And in order to get the seeder, I need to be up near the shed. And in order to get the seeds, which are at the shop, I need to pass by the shed. So if I leave the bales outside the shed, and the bales at the shop will also be an indicator for you guys will know to shout at me that I've forgotten to feed the cows. Or forgotten to give the cows straw. So that's what I'm going to do. This is a silly move, an unrealistic move, and something that I'm sure you guys might shout at me about, but it is probably the best move that I can make, just as a visual indicator that I've forgotten to do the job again. For 2 days in a row, which that wouldn't surprise me, because I actually am running very behind time today. You can see it's almost 11 o'clock, and by now usually I'm on TeamSpeak talking to the guys and chilling out, and I've got all the recording done. I've just been, because I decided to slurry up field 19 as well, Basically just to cut out the monotony of me slurrying 2 days in a row, because that would have been kind of a job for the stream. Also because I wanted to use the Abbey more, and it gave me an excuse. Yeah, because of that, I kind of spent a bit longer than I'd intended on off-camera work. And there goes the cup of tea I had. So, let's grab the bag fork, and while we're going up there, let's see if there's anything just been abandoned in random spots in the meantime. I think actually everything else is around the yard, which is ideal. If everything's around the yard, then it means we've got everything. I know there's going to be the bags and stuff that are going to appear on the map. We're going to need to buy more seeds. There's no way we're going to get Field 19 done with that few seeds. Also, surprise, me completely overshooting the bag fork was actually in the plans. Yeah, we're not going to get Field 19 done with just two bags of seed. We're going to need more than that. I think kind of moving forward medium term, once we get our first great demand through. And ooh, I've also forgotten to feed the pigs the actual crops, haven't I? Yeah. Once we get our first great demand through, that's when I'll probably look into, number one, paying off the remainder of the loan, especially if it's barley. And number two, getting a chieftain. Because if I get a chieftain, then I can move things not necessarily quicker, but a bit more efficiently. So for example, if I need to bring like a few bags of seed down from the shop, I can chieftain the telehandler up there and then chieftain it back with the bags, if there's only a couple of bags. If it's more than that, then I can just abandon it up there for a little while and, you know, bring the bags down in stages, and basically every time that I'm finished with it, I can shuttle it up and down on the back of the chieftain, is the plan. I don't know if that's going to work, but that's my plan. That is, I think, that's the end of the work for the telehandler today. So let's get this into the fuel zone. There we go. You can get turned off. You are going to be the shuttle for the remainder of the video. And you are going to shuttle both these trailers down to the trailer holding area. I'm sure Fahy is watching with just unadulterated glee at me actually finally tidying the yard. And a few of you guys have also shouted at me, other than Fahy, who just does it relentlessly, to tidy the bloody yard because it was a mess. I know that some of you have said that it's the, you know, to move the pallets and whatnot. They're going to stay where they are for now because they're basically going to get eaten very quickly. You know, next time I need to fertilize, it will be those pallets that go. Because the pallets up at the top there are fertilizer pallets, and the spreader is currently full of lime. I wonder, can I fit the combine under the cover? Because, like, that'd be ideal. I know that I said I was going to put the combine into the big shed, but I'm now thinking it might fit under the cover. And the tractors can go into the big shed. In fact, the tractors can go into pretty much any shed. It is looking, however, like this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode, just because of the fact that I was kind of concerned that I might need to do like a couple of hours of tidying, because I distinctly recall just abandoning crap everywhere, but it's looking like I wasn't as haphazard with the abandonment as I thought. It was just all abandoned in the yard. Also, this shed is convenient in that it can just about fit 2 trailers back to back. It is actually the perfect size for the equipment to have. If I keep this over to the left, like that, can I fit the combine in beside it? Because that is the Well, the combine needs to get into the fuel point first and then get repaired, so before we fix up the tractors, let's get the combine ready to go. And yes, this does have GPS, and yes, I do plan on using GPS eventually. Hopefully quite soon. So that's 800 litres of fuel in the combine. Let's get this into the repair pod. Here's the workshop. And maintain it. I guess repair the vehicle. And now this can go over into the shed with pretty much everything else. Will you fit under the car? Oh, you'll fit with tons of space to spare. Perfect. Don't ram that. Okay. And the final bit of work to do is just going to be shuttling everything in and out of the workshop. So this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode, but I did promise that I would do the yard tidy up today. Because there have been complaints about the state of the yard. And I'm not going to put the tractors away just yet, and the actual running gear away, only because I need a thumbnail, and that would be a kind of a cool thumbnail, as these three parked up in a field somewhere. Repair. I didn't know what I wanted to do there, so apologies for the delay. So that's 2 of 3 done. And the John Deere, which is just up around the corner here, is at 78.3% wear. I think there's a rule in the wheel that once I get up to high wear, which I'm going to count as 70%, that I'll need to repair vehicles, so under that rule this would have needed repair before. Oh good lord, $1.5 grand. Oh, there is one more thing I need to do, isn't there? There is one more thing I need to do today, and that is to sort out the problem that I'm going to have at silage. So this can take 2640. Do I have any advances on 26? No, I don't for telehandlers. Wow. So let's buy this bucket. Now you can go off. You can go off. And you are coming with me to the shop for one last run. Because I do need a bucket. And in time I'd hope to get a skid steer just to sort the pigs, because I feel like they only need a skid steer, but for now the telehandler is going to be the catch-all tool for everything. The reason that I want to get a telehandler for the pigs is just because it's small. It can, or not a telehandler, a skid steer. It's small. The pigs generally don't put out too much of a mess, and they tend to be. I haven't used them in 19 yet, which is one of the reasons I want to get it. But they tend to be pretty good at just dealing with the bucket loads of manure and just piling up manure, which is gonna be the primary focus of using the. Using a skid steer as opposed to a telehandler. It's just it's smaller. I can fit it in more places, and it'll be able to do the same jobs just on a smaller scale. Plus, I don't plan on doing any silage over the pig yard, and it makes kind of a bit of sense to just have a purpose machine over there. So, with the purchase of finally. After, what, 10 episodes? This is episode 11. After 10 episodes, well, 11 episodes, because we are at the end now, I finally bought a bucket for me telehandler. You know, we're at a point now where we've got 25 cows and 25 pigs, and I finally bought a bucket for me telehandler so I can actually give the cows some silage. And we have, by the way, 300,000 litres of silage ready to go. Well, not ready to go, but fermenting currently. So that's going to be a long, long supply. we are down now to €318 again, with quite a lot of loan, I believe. €55,000 in loans, so that's going to be where the money goes first. Then I think after loans, it's going to go to the BGA. I think with the grass the way that it is on field 15, I'm not going to plough it up until it needs ploughing up. And with that situation, the best bet for using spare grass isn't for hay, which I want to have a decent stockpile of, or for silage, which the pit of the yard now is 300,000 litres. It's going to be sending it to the BGA. But that is going to do it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. As always, leave rule suggestions in the comments below, as well as any comments you have on the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you want to see more from me, do feel free to subscribe. But until next time, stay safe, and goodbye.